Man City stunned by Brighton's late show as Pep Guardiola endures nightmare start Brighton 2-1. Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's side have been beaten for the second time in the opening 3 Premier League games, as Brighton's late winner saw them overcome a half-time deficit. Brighton Gruder rolled home a dramatic late winner as Brighton roared back to stun Manchester City with a thrilling 2-1 victory at the Amex Stadium. Seagulls midfielder Gruder raced clear to calmly finish in the 89th minute after fellow substitute James Milner became the second oldest scorer in Premier League history by converting a penalty against his former club. Erling Haaland stabbed City into a first-half lead on his 100th English top-flight appearance, but also failed to capitalise on a host of other openings. Defeat for Pep Guardiola's side was a second in succession, following last weekend's deflating 2-0 home loss to Tottenham, with Albion jubilantly celebrating a first league victory of the campaign. Rodri made his first league start in almost a year as part of 4 alterations to the City team, which began against Spurs, while Brighton made 3 changes from last Sunday's 2-0 reverse at Everton. Guardiola's men had the better of a tight first-half tactical battle, with Haaland initially squandering a hat-trick of chances. The Norway international fired tamely at Seagulls goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen inside 9 minutes before dragging another opportunity wide of the right post, and then seeing a close-range header pushed away. Between the first and second of those openings, a low shot from Albion winger Kaoru Mitoma was turned behind by City keeper James Trafford. Haaland eventually found his range 11 minutes before the break. After Yankuba Minte was dispossessed by Ryan Aït-Nouri and Oscar Bob drove towards Brighton's 18-yard box, Omar Marmoush bundled his way past Jan-Paul van Hecke and poked through the legs of Lewis Dunk for Haaland to clinically lift the ball over Verbruggen. Brighton were offering little from an attacking perspective and could have fallen further behind with an hour played when the lively Bob threatened to divert home Marmoush's low cross from left. Albion head coach Fabian Hürzeler responded by making a quadruple substitution, including introducing Milner and Gruder, which sparked an instant shift in momentum. Trafford turned over from Minte before referee Darren England pointed to the spot after Dunk's powerful volley across goal from Yassine Ayari's free kick struck the raised arm of Matheus Nunes. Aged 39 years and 239 days, Milner became Brighton's third penalty taker in as many games and emphatically dispatched his maiden goal for the club into the bottom left corner in the 67th minute. The veteran midfielder, who last found the net in Liverpool's 4-0 win at Leicester on Boxing Day 2019, paid tribute to former Reds teammate Diogo Jota, whose number 20 shirt he has adopted this season, with his celebration. Teddy Sheringham, aged 40 years and 268 days, is the only older player to have scored a Premier League goal. Brighton swiftly became the dominant team. Trafford superbly clawed away the ball to keep out Van Hecke's deflected effort in the 88th minute before Gruder sparked wild celebrations. The German midfielder, who scored in Albion's midweek 6-0 Carabao Cup success at Oxford, burst onto Mitoma's through ball and then coolly rounded Trafford to slot into the unguarded net. Here's a clear summary of the current transfer situation at Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's call for change regarding the timing of the transfer window. Pep Guardiola wants transfer window change as Manchester City prepare for deadline day. Manchester City are expected to be active on deadline day, but the end of the transfer window is complicated by their long trip to Brighton. Manchester City will try to finalise a series of transfer deals over the final 2 days of the window as they rush to trim Pep Guardiola's squad before Monday's 7 p.m. deadline. The attempts to sell players such as Manuel Akanji and Ilkay Gundogan, and the uncertainty over a move for goalkeeper Ederson and bringing Gianluigi Donnarumma in as a replacement have added to a sense of confusion around the Etihad. By the time the window shuts, City will have played 3 Premier League games. The opening of the campaign is disrupted for many clubs by the ongoing attempts to do deals and the noise that comes with a modern transfer window. It has had a particular effect on City's goalkeeping department, with uncertainty over who will stay and go and who will be the first choice this season. Guardiola refused to blame those issues for last week's defeat to Tottenham, but said managers and players would rather the window closed before the start of the season, only for the money men to want longer to do deals. I think the players and the managers want it changed, Guardiola said of the current deadline. But the chairman and CEOs want to make deals a bit longer. but we didn't lose against Spurs because of it. In other seasons, we have lost and won in this situation. The mood and uncertainty for the players could be better, but on Monday it will close here, and in Saudi and Turkey it is longer. That could still impact City, with Ederson wanted by Galatasaray, while Gundogan could also move to one of those two leagues. Guardiola has made it clear to some of his players that they will struggle for minutes this season if they don't move, but he has no issues with how players have been treated during the summer. I can never have a complaint about the way the club treats the players, he said. It is what it is. Am I going to change? No, so I have to adapt. Here's a clear and concise breakdown of why Pep Guardiola remains confident about Manchester City's success this season, despite a mixed start. Things I like. Why Pep Guardiola believes Manchester City will be successful this season. Manchester City have started the season with 1 win and 1 defeat, but Pep Guardiola is sure they are on the right track this season. Manchester City might still be searching for consistency right now, but Pep Guardiola is certain he has seen enough signs in training and matches to be confident of a successful season. The Blues suffered a disappointing campaign last term. They finished 3rd in the Premier League, lost in the Champions League playoff round, went out of the League Cup early, and lost the FA Cup final. Those struggles led to significant investment in January and this summer, but they are continuing to try to find stability, having followed impressive wins against Juventus and Wolves, with concerning defeats to Al Hilal and Tottenham. Guardiola knows consistency is needed for this season to be declared a success, with City facing fierce competition from Liverpool and Arsenal in the Premier League, and perhaps even a resurgent Chelsea. However, what he is seeing, particularly behind closed doors, is giving him reason for optimism. The way we are training and the way we are competing, we have to improve. But there are things that I would say are a sign, Guardiola said ahead of Sunday's trip to face Brighton. When I see these things in games like in the United States of America for the Club World Cup, I like it. We won 6 Premier Leagues in 8 years, and when the season I wouldn't say I knew we were going to win the league. But I see things that I